Top 10 Addictive, Underrated Isekai Anime. We're diving into 10 criminally underrated isekai anime that'll hook you harder than Truck-kun collecting victims. These hidden gems deserve way more love than they're getting. Kicking off with number 10, No Longer Allowed in Another World. This anime basically said, what if we took depression and yeeted it into Fantasyland? Our protagonist gets banned from his own world for being too much of a downer, then discovers the other world is somehow more depressing. It's like watching someone try to escape their problems by moving to a new city, only to find out everywhere sucks equally. The dark humor hits different though. Imagine if Konosuba had an existential crisis and you're halfway there. The supporting cast carries hard, especially when they're trying to figure out why this guy makes everyone around him question their life choices. It's weirdly therapeutic watching someone more miserable than you navigate fantasy politics while having zero enthusiasm about it. Sliding to number 9, the weakest tamer began a journey to pick up trash. Don't let the title fool you. This isn't about literal garbage collection, though our girl Ivy does start with the lamest possible monster companion. She gets the Pokemon equivalent of a magic carp and somehow makes it work through pure determination and trash-tier monsters that everyone else ignores. It's giving major Underdog energy, like watching someone win a boss fight using only starting equipment. The world building actually slaps once you get past the humble beginnings. Ivy's character development from zero to hero feels earned, not handed to her on a silver platter. Plus, there's something satisfying about proving that friendship and strategy can beat raw power. Eat your heart out, overpowered protagonists. The monster designs are surprisingly creative for what should be bottom-tier creatures. Landing on number 8, a salad bowl of eccentrics. Okay, this one's technically reverse isekai, but hear me out. It counts, because we get fantasy characters trying to survive modern Japan, and it's absolutely chaotic. Picture this: a knight, a detective, and other fantasy archetypes trying to navigate convenience stores and part-time jobs. The culture clash comedy writes itself, but somehow it goes deeper than just fantasy person confused by smartphones. Each character brings baggage from their original world that creates genuine emotional moments between the laughs. It's like watching your RPG party try to function in real life, complete with the mage trying to figure out how microwaves work. The slice-of-life elements blend perfectly with the fantasy backstories, creating something that feels both familiar and fresh. Plus, the animation style has this cozy warmth that makes you want to hang out with these weirdos. Looking at number 7, Sasaki and Peeps. Middle-aged salary worker gets a pet bird that's actually an overpowered sage, and somehow this becomes the most relatable isekai premise ever. Sasaki treats interdimensional travel like a side hustle, which is peak millennial energy. Man's out here flipping potions between worlds to pay rent. The bird, Peeps, is basically that one friend who's way too smart but stuck helping you with basic life problems. Their dynamic feels like a buddy cop show, where one partner happens to be a magical talking bird with serious attitude. The modern world politics mixing with fantasy economics creates surprisingly engaging storylines. Sasaki's practical approach to magic and world saving is refreshing. No chosen one complex, just a guy trying to make his life slightly less terrible using otherworldly connections. Checking out number 6, The Witch and the Beast. This anime said, what if we made Beauty and the Beast but added murder mystery vibes and cranked the gothic atmosphere to 11? The art style alone deserves awards. It's like watching a Tim Burton film if he actually understood how to write compelling characters. Our witch protagonist isn't your typical magical girl. She's got serious trauma and uses it as fuel for some genuinely terrifying magic. The Beast companion brings both muscle and unexpected emotional depth, creating a partnership that feels natural rather than forced. Each episode drops hints about their shared past while solving supernatural cases that range from heartbreaking to nightmare fuel. The world building suggests a much larger story hiding beneath the surface, making every revelation feel earned. It's dark fantasy done right, with enough mystery to keep you theorizing between episodes. Moving to number 5, Suicide Squad Isekai. DC said hold my beer and threw their anti-hero team into a fantasy world, and somehow it works better than it has any right to. Harley Quinn adapting to sword and sorcery settings while maintaining her chaotic energy is pure entertainment gold. The team dynamics translate surprisingly well to fantasy adventure format. Deadshot's still the reliable shooter, just with magic-enhanced bullets now. What makes this special is how it doesn't just copy-paste characters into a new setting. It explores how their skills and personalities would actually adapt to a completely different world system. The action sequences blend superhero choreography with fantasy combat in ways that feel fresh. Plus, watching villains try to be heroes in a world where their usual moral compass is completely sideways creates some genuinely funny moments. It's fan service that actually serves the story. Hitting number 4, the Red Ranger becomes an adventurer in another world. Power Rangers meets RPG mechanics, and it's everything your inner child dreamed of. Our former Red Ranger gets Isekai, but keeps his transformation abilities, leading to some of the most creative fight scenes in recent memory. The show doesn't shy away from exploring what happens when someone who's used to being part of a team suddenly has to go solo. His ranger training translates perfectly to Adventurer Guild work, but the emotional journey of losing his team hits harder than expected. The supporting cast feels like they could carry their own spin-offs, each bringing unique perspectives on what it means to be a hero. Combat choreography mixes Sentai-style team attacks with solo adventure tactics, creating fight scenes that feel both familiar and innovative. It's nostalgia done right, respecting the source material while building something genuinely new. Arriving at number 3, Quality Assurance in Another World. This anime asked, what if someone actually tested these broken fantasy game worlds before release and created the most relatable protagonist in isekai history? Our QA tester gets pulled into the worlds he's supposed to debug, armed with professional skepticism and a notebook full of exploit knowledge. Watching him methodically break game mechanics while NPCs have existential crises is comedy gold. The meta-humor works because it comes from genuine love of gaming rather than cheap shots at the medium. Each world presents different bugs that range from hilarious to genuinely threatening, keeping the format fresh. The supporting characters slowly realize they're living in a simulation, leading to some surprisingly deep conversations about free will and purpose. It's the smartest comedy about gaming culture disguised as a fantasy adventure. Reaching number 2, Farming Life in Another World. Slice-of-life isekai that proves you don't need demon lords or epic quests to create compelling storytelling. Our protagonist just wants to farm in peace, but his crops and livestock keep evolving into increasingly ridiculous forms. It's Stardew Valley if your chickens could eventually become dragons and your vegetables gain sentience. The peaceful atmosphere masks some genuinely impressive world building, as various species discover this agricultural paradise. What starts as simple farming gradually reveals complex ecosystems and political structures surrounding this one man's desire to grow things. The character relationships develop naturally through shared meals and seasonal festivals, creating a found family dynamic that feels authentic. Each episode brings new challenges that are solved through cooperation and innovation rather than violence. It's comfort food anime that somehow manages to be consistently engaging without manufactured drama. And finally, number 1, Kamikatsu, Working for God in a Godless World. This anime said, what if we took religious satire, cranked it to maximum chaos, and somehow made it genuinely thoughtful? Our protagonist becomes a cult leader in a world where gods are banned, leading to the most unhinged religious commentary in anime history. The humor walks the line between blasphemous and brilliant, poking fun at organized religion while exploring genuine questions about faith and community. Every episode escalates the absurdity while maintaining surprising emotional depth. It's South Park meets philosophical treatise but with better animation. The animation style perfectly matches the chaotic energy, with facial expressions that could launch 1,000 memes. It manages to be simultaneously the most ridiculous and most sincere examination of faith in recent anime memory. These 10 hidden gems prove Isekai still has surprises left to offer beyond the usual power fantasy formula. Which one caught your attention? drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if this helped your watch list grow, and subscribe for more deep dives into anime that deserves your time.